This conference is being recorded.
Okay, folks, and once again, this is Ken Marsh, Director of Marketing for Zuma Worldwide, and I'm certainly glad to be on the line with you tonight. And tonight's call is a special one for us because, as some of you, hopefully most of you know by this point, we have released a brand new product in Zuma Worldwide called RevitalMind. And I'm going to answer a couple of quick questions up front here, and then we're going to dive into a little bit more about this formula and why I think it's beneficial to those of you listening in tonight, and especially maybe those of you who have friends or family members who are concerned about mental decline. But for some of you who have been with Zuma for any period of time now, you may be wondering, why would Zuma Worldwide come out with a premium brain support formula when they've already got Focus Up? And it's a very good question. So if you're one of the people asking that, I'm going to answer that right now. You have to understand that at Zuma Worldwide, part of our goal is always to give you the absolute best value we can when it comes to our products, but also within a certain price range, we want to be able to keep those products affordable. Now, we understand that when you look at a product like Focus Up, most people initially or originally will try it because they want to get that needed energy boost during the day that so many people are reaching for. A lot of people, of course, are replacing their energy sodas and energy drinks and energy shots or that midday coffee with Focus Up as their energy booster. In fact, it's so neat to see how many people have said to us that they've actually stopped doing all of those other kinds of energy-boosting products and opted for something that's a whole lot healthier and in most cases less expensive than what they were taking before to boost their energy throughout the day. So Focus Up, as we know, is a great, healthy, natural energy booster. We also know that Focus Up is a whole lot more than an energy booster. When we put that product together and we built that, we said, let's go beyond just a natural, healthy energy-boosting product. Let's address one of the areas that, unfortunately, most people don't think about, and that is their cognitive, mental function, and nutritional brain support. The reality is a lot of people don't consciously think about it. We take, our mental capacity for granted each and every day. And it's sad because we don't start to think about it until we start to lose it or it starts to decline. So we knew that a lot of people were out there not servicing the nutritional needs of their brain. So we said, let's take Focus Up and make it this wonderful, supportive brain tonic, if you will, that in addition to this healthy energy boost they're going to get, they're going to be putting into their body nutrients that have been shown in clinical research and science to actually improve things like memory, mood, concentration, focus, and mental energy. In fact, we spent tens of thousands of dollars at Zuma Worldwide with our attorneys to be able to say, not might, could, might, sort of, but will have the ability, that product, to improve memory, mood, concentration, focus, and mental energy. So we know that product contains clinically meaningful dosages of the ingredients that are in that formula to be able to make those statements and claims. So the good news is that is a very powerful product for supporting your day-to-day mental nutritional needs. Now, that being said, there were some ingredients that when we were creating the Focus Up formula that we had researched and had great knowledge of that had some amazing benefits in science, in nutritional science, and in human studies to really dramatically impact the brain. But those ingredients, at least some of those, were so expensive that they were cost prohibitive, meaning that there was no way in the world we could put them into Focus Up and still be able to offer Focus Up at the incredible low price point that it's offered to you as a Zuma member. So as many of you know, we had a product in the line for a period of time that we called Memory Works, and that product was, in fact, a premium brain support formula. That was a product that was putting into the formula those types of ingredients that were extremely high-end ingredients, clinical-level ingredients, expensive ingredients, but ingredients that had so much research and science behind them that they made sense in that formula. The challenge we face with that formula, unfortunately, is that particular formula for some people, in fact, unfortunately for a lot of people, was just not within their budget. That particular formula sold for roughly $80 per bottle. Now, knowing the science in that product, I can tell you personally I believe it was worth every penny. But we also understand that, on a daily basis, each of us has choices to make on the money we spend and where we invest. And while most of you, if not all of you, on this line are in agreement that your investment in your health, your investment in products like you purchase through Zimmer Worldwide are wise investments for your long-term health and the benefits of you and your family, we understand that all of you have a budget. And some of you have larger budgets, some of you have smaller budgets. So we were faced with a challenge. We said, how do we get a premium brain support formula into Zimmer's product line? But how do we do it in such a way where you can have it for much less money so that you can actually maybe get that product into your daily regimen at a much more affordable price point? So the challenge really for us as a company was trying to give you a very high-end product without an $80 price tag. And so we went to work. We've been working on this formula for several months. And I'm proud to tell you that when we finally came together and decided on the final formula, now known today as RevitalMind, this was a formula that we were extremely proud of. In fact, working with some of the nutritional researchers that we were closely aligned with in this project, and I happen to be fortunate that I was working very closely with the team that put this product together, one of the researchers made a great comment to me. He said, you know what, this formula is so good. He says, I'm going to start using this in place of the one I've been using. Now, folks, when you get a nutritional researcher who understands these nutrients at an intimate level and gets to play a small role in helping you develop and create a formula, and then they turn to you and say, I'm going to stop taking what I was taking and take this instead, that's an incredible compliment. And it hopefully illustrates a little bit of the kind of power that's in the RevitalMind formula. Now, the RevitalMind formula, in my opinion, is one of these ideal formulas for people who are in the 45 and older category. So if you're on this line right now and you're listening to me and you're 25 or 30 years of age, I'm going to tell you that focus up on a daily basis, if that's something you're currently doing, is probably the level of brain nutrition your body needs at this point. But here's the sad reality. For those of us on this line who are 45 and older, we are now on the the defense, I should say, in terms of we're now battling mental decline. There's been many, many research studies to prove that at age 45 and beyond, we start to really lose some of our brain's capacity. And it's not that we necessarily have to lose it, but it's because so many of us, unfortunately, like I said, are just not either aware of or paying attention to or just don't know what to do to feed our brains nutritionally. If you had a chance to look at the RevitalMind brochure, you saw a question on the front of that brochure. It's a very important question. And the question is, what are you doing to protect and feed your brain? Now, you may already be saying, well, hey, I've been taking Focus Up for the last few months or the last year or two. And if your answer was that, congratulations. You're definitely in a very small percentage of people who are actually doing something on a daily basis consciously to support the nutritional needs of their brain. But the reality is, if you were to ask most people that question, if you were to stop 100 people on the street in your local town and ask them that question, probably 95, maybe more, would say they're not doing anything. Or they'd shrug their shoulders and go, I don't know what to do. So RevitalMind is a very special product because it's a product that contains, like I said, clinical-level nutrients. Some of the nutrients that are so expensive, they just, again, weren't possible to put in Focus Up. And other nutrients that are familiar to you because they're in Focus Up. But in RevitalMind, they're in an even higher level dosage. So this is one of those types of formulas where if they wrote prescriptions for nutritional supplements, this would probably be one of those that they would write a prescription for, in my opinion. Now, that being said, I want to go through the ingredients with you a little bit, the nutrients in this formula. Because if you are aware of this product and you've had a chance to look at the nutritional label, you'll see that it's a pretty involved formula. It's a very synergistic formula, though, and I'm going to point a few things out to you in this formula that help you clearly see that. If you happen to be near your computer and you had that email sent to you just a few days ago from Zoomer's corporate office, and you saw there we have a link not only to the brochure, but actually to the product label itself. If you happen to be in front of a computer, this may be a great time to just jump on and grab that email and click on that. You can actually look at the product label with me as we're going through this a little bit together. But one of the things that's in this formula is both vitamin B6 and vitamin B12. Now, if you're familiar with the Focus Up formula, you're already familiar with the vitamin B12. You've been getting that in that formula. Vitamin B12 is a wonderful energy booster without being like a caffeine kind of an energy booster. It's a wonderful mental energy boosting product. In fact, there's a lot of research going on these days talking about what's happening to people who are deficient in B12, and mental decline is one of those things. But what they're also discovering is that when you combine B6 and B12, specifically for mental health benefits, there's a synergistic effect that takes place when you combine both of those B vitamins for mental and cognitive support. So you'll see in this particular form, we've combined both the B6 and the B12 together, and they're in there in synergistic ratios to one another based on the research and the science that's been done. There's another thing in there, and it's an actually trademarked branded ingredient. And by the way, in this particular formula, there are 3 branded and trademarked ingredients. And the reason that's important to you is these are companies that produce specific varieties of these nutrients or nutrient complexes. When you see a trademarked or branded ingredient in a Zuma product, and you'll see them throughout our product line, it's basically our way of saying we decided to choose the highest and greatest supplement level of support in that category. Because the trademark brand ingredients that you'll see in Zuma's products are chosen for a reason. They've been shown definitive proof in both human and animal studies to be the best in their category for the best performance. That's why we choose them. But as you can imagine, when you have that level of research and study that goes into a trademarked and branded nutrient complex, they get expensive, and they get expensive fast. So to help you understand how special this formula is, think about this. You've got 3 trademarked branded nutrients in this formula. In fact, we proudly list the logos of those branded nutrients on the front label of RevitalMind. And here's something else that's important to note. In order to be able to use and put those trademark branded logos on the front of our label, we've got to be able to get the permission from the manufacturers of those nutrient complexes. So basically, they give us permission to do that only if we're being responsible in our formula and how we're using their branded ingredients. So it's just almost like a checkbox of approval, if you will, from other manufacturers saying, good job, and we're going to let you use our logo on your label. That's important to know. So if you look on the label itself, you'll see something that's called folate. Now, this is a very unique form. Many of you have heard of folic acid. Well, quatrefolate is a trademark branded version, and it's kind of like an evolutionary form of folic acid or folate. In fact, it blends beautifully and works in harmony with those B vitamins. And it's definitely, for many people, a much more noticeable difference when they use this brand of folate versus using just a standard, no-name, generic brand of folic acid. In fact, years ago I was educated, and this is sad, but this is true. And those of you who are parents, especially you women out there who were taking prenatal vitamins, hopefully one of the things your doctor told you to take when you were pregnant with your child was folic acid, because there's been research that's been done, and this is the sad part, is before they discovered this research, there were a lot of children being born with brain deficiencies, and they linked these brain deficiencies back to a lack of folic acid in women when they were pregnant with their children. So folic acid today, from any responsible pediatrician or physician, is recommended for women who are pregnant with a child, because we know that that ensures in many cases the child's brain function and development is healthy. Well, guess what? That doesn't change as we get older. We still benefit from things like folic acid and folate. And the quatrefolate brand, the trademark brand in the RevitalMind formula, is an evolutionary step beyond the generic standard stuff that you see in so many different supplements out there. It's been shown in research science to be extremely effective, and for many people, like I said, more effective than just taking the folic acid or the folate on their own. Now, there's something else that we did just recently. In fact, if you were on Zuma's social network site, our Ning site as it's known, and by the way, if you don't know how to reach that, simply go to the back office of your Zuma Worldwide website. on the right-hand side of that main landing page, you'll see a little link there to our Ning. It's our private social network site. But I posted an article on there I think it was literally 24 hours ago, on a study that was just released out of Europe. And the study, I'll read the title to you. It says, vitamin E shows cognitive function benefits in a recent study. It says, increased blood levels of all forms of vitamin E may reduce the risk of mild cognitive impairment in older adults, says a new study from Europe. The study is said to be the first of its kind to evaluate the effects of all 8 forms of vitamin E. And by the way, a lot of people didn't know there were that many forms of vitamin E, so this might be news to you just hearing that. In mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's disease, found that the risk was reduced by 15% and 8% in people with high levels of tocopherols and tocotrienols. Now, those are the different forms of vitamin E, the tocopherols and the tocotrienols. So what they're saying is that instead of just one form of vitamin E, if you have multiple forms of vitamin E combined together, you are doing yourself a great favor when it comes to cognitive function. And again, in their studies, they're suggesting that it reduced the risk of mild cognitive impairment by 15% and the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 8%. Now, if you look on the label of your RevitalMind formula, you're going to notice that there is a natural E3 full-spectrum tocotrienol powder inside there. In fact, you'll see that right on the supplement facts panel. Looks basically that's saying we've understood that this research is out there. While this particular study I just referenced literally just came out within the last 30 days, this information, if you know where to look and you consult with the right people in the nutritional research field, has been out for a lot longer. We knew that, and again, that's the value in us working with people who are in the know in the health and wellness industry, and that's why we incorporate that into the new RevitalMind formula. There's some other nutrients in here. Let's talk about another trademark one, which is a critical one, and again, one of the most expensive ones in the formula, but it's so worth it, and that is the Serenade brand of phosphatidylserine. It's oftentimes abbreviated as PS. This is a nutrient some of you may have heard talked about before. It was in the MemoryWorks product, but this is a nutrient that plays a critical role both in maintaining and improving mental performance. Things like name and face recognition, recalling locations of things that you've misplaced. I've lost something. Where is it? This is actually one of the nutrients that can help you regain that type of memory power, concentration, focus. This is unfortunately one of the nutrients, though, that is lacking in our bodies as we age. It's so effective. It's so important. The research, the multitudes of studies that have been done on phosphatidylserine are so strong that it is one of the only natural ingredients or supplements in the history of the United States that our own Food and Drug Administration allowed and granted 2 health claims for. They indicated, the FDA, this is our very own United States FDA, indicated that phosphatidylserine may reduce the risk of cognitive dysfunction and dementia in the elderly. Now, for some of you who don't understand how powerful that is, our Food and Drug Administration virtually never does any approval on any natural supplement or nutrient to allow it to have any kind of recognizable claim like that. That's usually not the FDA's role. But the evidence on phosphatidylserine was so overwhelming that they actually granted those 2 qualified health claims. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, Serenade is the Rolls-Royce level quality in the phosphatidylserine category. So again, we put that in this formula. And by the way, in addition to things of prevention like memory loss and age-related cognitive decline, phosphatidylserine actually has some other cool functions. I'm going to just share a couple of those with you. One of the things it can actually do is help to reduce cortisol levels and reduction of stress in the body. Most of you are familiar with cortisol because it's that stress hormone. A lot of you have heard it linked to belly fat, and it in fact is. But phosphatidylserine can help to keep that cortisol at bay, reducing your stress levels. Part of the challenge that we face in today's society, as stressed out as we are, is one of the reasons we have mental decline is because we are stressed. And if we can keep our stress levels lower, we are going to have a much better time at keeping our brain a little more relaxed and having a little bit more cognitive focus and concentration. Here's some like athletic activities, whether it be, running, weightlifting, or like a concentration sport, maybe like golf or table tennis. It's very good for supporting physical activity. Also helps reduce muscle soreness and just recovery in people who are athletically active and doing athletic, or highly active in their, job, physical. So calculating is a powerful ingredient. You'll find that in this formula. Here's a familiar one for those of you who are using Focus Up. It's vinpocetine. Vinpocetine is in your Focus Up capsules. Now, it's not in your Focus Up drink sticks because this particular nutrient is extremely bitter. It's so bitter that there was no way, if we put it in your Focus Up drink sticks, that we could mask the taste. It would taste horrible. So the only reason it doesn't exist in your drink sticks is simply because it's just a horrible tasting product. Now, that being said, it is in the capsules because it is a very powerful and potent product. Now, you'll notice that the vinpocetine in the RevitalMind is actually twice the amount that we have in the Focus Up capsules. So, again, another example of how we've used a well-known brain research nutrient, but we've increased the dosage level, just like you've seen in the Focus Up. Now, one of the things I can also tell you about vinpocetine, which is really cool, is not only does it have the ability to have better blood flow within the brain, one of the other things it does, it has very neural protective effects to the brain as well. Now, the other thing I can also tell you is that there is an anti-inflammatory effect with vinpocetine. Now, for those of you who are suddenly saying, oh, that sounds familiar, you've heard us talk about the anti-inflammatory effects of cardio. Nutrient itself has anti-inflammatory effects as well in the brain. In fact, there's been some research done that they believe that vinpocetine might play a role in the treatment of Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. Now, the research on that is there is nothing that's super conclusive in there yet. But some benefits with vinpocetine related to those two diseases certainly makes it worth, in my opinion, taking on a daily basis. Now, here's another nutrient. Again, you're familiar with this because it is one of the strong nutrients that we highlight in Focus Up. It's an ingredient called acetyl L-carnitine. It's abbreviated as ALCAR. Now, acetyl L-carnitine is one of these unique nutrients that can actually get across the blood-brain barrier, and it helps get more blood circulation to the brain. Much better than vinpocetine, even though vinpocetine also can do that as well. It's also a very powerful antioxidant in the body. It helps in the prevention of brain cell deterioration. Now, for some of you, brain cell deterioration is just, again, something you expect as you're aging. For some of you, because you partied a little bit too much in college. Kidding. But seriously, brain deterioration or brain cell deterioration is a natural part of aging. But if we can slow that process down with a product like acetyl L-carnitine, we're going to have a much better opportunity to have more of our cognitive function as we get older. Now, this is one of those ingredients, again, that they're doing a lot of research on. There's been a lot of research done on it. They're finding other benefits, such as insulin response is improved with the nutrient. It's also been linked to improvements of various muscle diseases as well as heart conditions. So, again, in addition to all the wonderful research that's been done on acetyl L-carnitine for brain performance and, again, reducing the degradation of brain cells, it also has been showing up in other research studies as being beneficial in other areas of health as well. We're going to talk about one more ingredient tonight that's in this formula. It's called sensorol. Sensorol is actually it's ashwagandha root. But sensorol, again, is another one of those trademark brand name ingredients and nutrients in there. Another very expensive one. But again, it is at the top of the list of nutrients in its own category. What does this particular nutrient do? It does things like help inhibit fatigue, tension, and exhaustion in our everyday stressful lives. So again, getting back to the stress connection here, helps promote mental clarity, concentration, and alertness. Helps balance energy levels for physical performance and endurance. Again, you're seeing some similarities here to some of the things that phosphatidylserine does. Helps support cardiovascular function. And we just talked about that with the acetyl L-carnitine, okay? And also is helping to support blood sugar levels in normal ranges. So as you can start to see as we talk about the various different nutrients and ingredients in this formula, you can see that some of the benefits are crossover benefits, where they have similar benefits to other different nutrients, but all of them have one common theme. All of them have been shown in research and science to be supportive of brain function, brain health, brain nutrition. Again, that's why we call RevitalMind a premium brain support formula. So, who should use this product? Well, like I said earlier, if you're in the 45 and older category, I'd highly recommend you use this product. This is a product where you simply need to take 2 capsules a day. If you're using this in conjunction with Focus Up, no problem. In fact, it's probably going to accelerate the benefits just a little bit. So if you're on this line and you say, yeah, I love Focus Up, I love the energy it gives me, I love knowing that it's giving me some nutritional support to my brain each and every day, I don't want to stop doing that, not a problem. You can incorporate RevitalMind safely into your daily routine along with Focus Up. We knew that many people in Zuma would be using both products, so we specifically designed RevitalMind to be easily combined with Focus Up. Do you need to take both? My answer is no, you don't need to take both. Can you be benefited by taking both? Absolutely. If you're somebody, though, in the 45 and older category, and maybe you're on a limited budget, and you say, listen, I can't do Focus Up and this and some of the other nutrients, and you had to select one. If you're in the 45 and older category and you're concerned about mental decline, maybe there's a history of Alzheimer's or dementia or cognitive decline in your family. Maybe this has become a common problem, and you see this a lot, through some of your other family members. This is definitely one of those products I would try to incorporate sooner rather than later, and monitor yourself. Notice differences in the way you feel. But understand this is not a snap-your-fingers overnight product. This is not something you're going to take 2 capsules of in one day and expect to feel radically different. Folks, the nutrients in this formula are designed in such a way, and according to the research studies that have been done on these individual nutrients, this is a build-up process. Think about it. Mental decline doesn't happen overnight. Rebuilding the nutritional foundation of your brain also doesn't happen overnight. So again, being responsible as we are as a company, you don't have huge, massive dosages of any one ingredient in this formula, because if you did, that would be irresponsible on our part. Not only would it be ridiculously expensive, it would be irresponsible. Remember, this is a product that will help rebuild that nutritional foundation in your brain. So this is one of those products, if you're looking to monitor your results to see what is it doing for me, here's my best recommendation. Give the product 90 days. Make a commitment to do 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule in the evening for 90 days, and then do your evaluation. Evaluate where you're at before you start and evaluate yourself 90 days later. My assumption is that for most of you, you will absolutely notice some differences. For those of you who really believe that you want to get that premium level brain support, you need that, I can just about assure you 6 months on a product like this, and you will notice dramatic differences. There are research studies that show that some of the nutrients in this formula have the ability to reverse mental aging by years. So again, this is one of those products that don't expect immediate overnight change, but stick with it for at least 90 days, and I think you're going to be thrilled with the differences you're going to notice. And again, pay attention. You'll notice suddenly maybe you're not forgetting things as much. Your brain performance is sharper. You're just quicker at thinking of things, or quicker at responding. And again, as you've heard me talk about tonight, there's some other side benefits to many of the nutrients in this formula, especially as you heard in lowering stress levels. For some of you, maybe that will be one of the first things you notice, is that your stress levels start to decrease. So it'll be different for those of you who are listening in tonight than it will be for others. But I can assure you that this was a well-thought-out, very, very strategically put-together formula. So if you incorporate this into your day-to-day routine, I think you'll be thankful 3 to 6 months from now that you did, because of the incredible benefits it can do for your brain. Now, that being said, let me also suggest this. Please keep in mind that Zuma's products, again, are not ever intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate any disease, but they're simply designed to support your body with the nutritional needs to help it function at peak efficiency. And in this case, we're talking about your brain performing better and maintaining that longevity of good, healthy brain function for a very long period of time. That's our goal with the nutrients in this formula. So I encourage you, if you have not yet taken advantage of this, you still have a little bit more than 24 hours to take advantage of our introductory offer on RevitalMind. You can buy 2 bottles and get a third one free. Folks, that means that each bottle breaks down to just $33 each. At that price, based on what I've shared with you tonight on this formula, that is an amazing, it's an unbelievable value for a formula like this. So again, if you haven't picked up your buy 2 get 1 free special on RevitalMind, I highly encourage you not to miss this window of opportunity. On midnight tomorrow night, that opportunity will be gone. So don't miss that chance. Put it to use in your own life. Again, by the way, that would be a 90-day supply if you did that. It would certainly give you a good opportunity to test the product for your own self or those people in your family who may be able to use a product like this. So, folks, as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to listen in on this call tonight. I hope the information was helpful to you, and I certainly look forward to hearing from many of you on this line about your personal positive stories and experiences with the RevitalMind product. Folks, until we talk again, have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to talking to you real soon on another one of our health and wellness education calls. Remember, we do this each